Welcome back here to Live Now from Fox. Taking a look at some video from earlier here today. We've had so many different wonderful pictures of Veteran Day tributes coming to us from across our country. This procession on its way to the Arlington National Cemetery, where then later in the morning we heard from President Biden. This will be something we'll continue to show to you throughout the day, is all of these different sites and tributes that are being given from coast to coast. We've had some of our celebrations down in Florida. We've had some out in Washington, D.C. We've had some all the way up north in Minnesota, and then all the way over to also California as well. So a lot of different looks that we'll be bringing to you here throughout the day. Don't forget, you can always stay up to date on the latest top stories and breaking news that happens also each and every single day with us on Live Now from Fox. But it's been so nice to see all of these beautiful tributes here today, especially as we continue to share stories and share different tributes that have been happening from coast to coast. Speaking of some of our stories, we do have some great interviews with organizations who are lending a hand to veterans in need. Going to be bringing that to you right here on Live Now from Fox. For more than 27 years, one program has been helping with veterans' employment, clothing and food, and even direct aid. And we do want to continue to say thank you to all those who have served with us, and even those who continue to help those who have served before. Bringing in here on Live Now from Fox, the founder and president of Veterans Outreach, John Ely. And John, let's just go ahead and first just tell people about Veterans Outreach, something you started 27 years ago. That's a very long time to run this program.
Well, I mean, I founded it back when, right after I got back from San Francisco. And I don't know if you read the story or not, but when I was there, I couldn't believe the amazing amount of homelessness that was right before me. I'm talking seeing thousands of folks out there, right along the famed trolley tracks. And, you know, and I just was in disbelief. Matter of fact, I got a hypodermic needle stuck in my shoe walking down the street. And that was back in '93. And so I was there for 3 days, and that's all it took for me to get really sick and tired of looking at this humanity in disarray. And so I went ahead and started talking to some of them. A good bit of them that I was talking to were veterans. And my dad being the founder of the Pro Survivors Association, brother being Vietnam and Korea, you know, I couldn't understand why the government would allow something like this to transpire and hurt these veterans. And there had to be some way to figure it out. So I actually even called the mayor of San Francisco, and I wanted to find out why there are so many veterans, especially that's in this condition. And I said, what are you doing for them? He said, well, they just don't have the funding to take care of this problem or situation. Well, what do you do with them? He said, well, we just keep track of how we find them passed on. And that was the answer I got. So when I got back, it just bothered me like crazy. And I was talking to my father about it. And he said, well, do something about it, son. So I did. And all I needed is a nice little word and finger. And that's how I started.
So and some of the ways.
Of course, I really know what I did. I've never had a nonprofit experience, you know. So, but it turned out like I was taking the rest of my life to do this. So, anyways, I'm glad I'm doing it. It's a feel-good feeling. I mean, when you go to my offices and see people standing outside waiting for help to get the food, the clothing, the help with their rent, utilities, and that's our national headquarters right there. And we're observing the pandemic protocol, very only allowing a few people in at a time. But it really basically almost shut us down. Our funding, everything. We had to close down 38 events that year. So talking about, you know, taking better than half of our funding out of the picture, we had to provide resilience and keep our other offices in the South, like Florida and Alabama and Kentucky, all surviving. And it was just, we had 140 employees, and we got down to 40 employees, and just nobody wanted to work, wanted to be out there. So it has been really tough crawling back, and we've had a lot of great support from just other businesses and some foundations that got us back to where we need to be. We're still way under our employee needs. So anybody out there that is interested in helping out with veterans outreach, whether it be donations or employment opportunities, helping me develop another office. My goal is to put an office in every state. And I'd like to do that while I'm still breathing. So, but we need a lot of help to try to get these veterans integrated into getting their life back. And that's why back 3 years ago, one of my volunteers in Kentucky, Grayson, Kentucky, offered to donate some property to us. And he called me up and told me about it. And he says, well, my kids, they don't want to be involved with the property. And it's been in the family since 1920. And I said, well, how many acres is it? And he said, 110 plus acres. And where's it at? Appalachia. So I said, okay, we'll figure something out. And so I did. And for the last 3 years, and then of course the pandemic got us thrown in there. That's why we're not really groundbreaking pretty much yet. But just trying to get back on track to do something of this monolithic value. I mean, the infrastructure, everything has to be done. And I'm looking at a $50 million project with 80 buildings plus being built there, a lake, and all these other programs that you can all see through veteransoutreach.org or our website. And it takes up a lot of my time. We've built up a real nice advisory committee. I met with commissioners at the Kentucky Veterans Affairs Department. They're very, very excited about the program. So I'm just climbing up the ladder. We had to provide resilience and keep our other offices in the South, like Florida and Alabama and Kentucky, all surviving. And it was just we had 140 employees, and we got down to 40 employees, and just nobody wanted to work, wanted to be out there. So it has been really tough crawling back, and we've had a lot of great support from just other businesses and some foundations that got us back to where we need to be. We're still way under our employee needs. So anybody out there that is interested in helping out with veterans outreach, whether it be donations or employment opportunities, helping me develop another office. My goal is to put an office in every state. And I'd like to do that while I'm still breathing. So, but we need a lot of help to try to get these veterans integrated into getting their life back. And that's why back 3 years ago, one of my volunteers in Kentucky, Grayson, Kentucky, offered to donate some property to us. And he called me up and told me about it. And he says, well, my kids, they don't want to be involved with the property. And it's been in the family since 1920. And I said, well, how many acres is it? And he said, 110 plus acres. And where's it at? Appalachia. So I said, okay, we'll figure something out. And so I did. And for the last 3 years, and then of course the pandemic got us thrown in there. That's why we're not really groundbreaking pretty much yet. But just trying to get back on track to do something of this monolithic value. I mean, the infrastructure, everything has to be done. And I'm looking at a $50 million project with 80 buildings plus being built there, a lake, and all these other programs that you can all see through veteransoutreach.org or our website. And it takes up a lot of my time. We've built up a real nice advisory committee. I met with commissioners at the Kentucky Veterans Affairs Department. They're very, very excited about the program. So I'm just climbing up the ladder and trying to get to the promotion of getting everybody involved with this some way, somehow. I think everybody should be involved with this project because the main theme is to help our war-impacted veterans get their lives back by teaching them an agricultural trade, whether it be aquaculture or agriculture or any kind of culture, just so we can get them ready to get involved with that kind of industry. And the largest greenhouse in the world happened to just develop 20 minutes away from our property, which is App Harvest. And they're planning on 20 plus greenhouses, massive greenhouses, 90% efficient by 2025, hiring 3,000 people. And I'm hoping we can grab 10% of those employee needs just with that organization. And we're talking, you know, the first greenhouse is 60 acres under roof. And they already have 2 other ones under construction. They're 40 acres each. And I'm just looking for a 5-acre incubator for that industry and to get up to speed with the food production that this world definitely needs. So, but I mean, and for these vets to come in and go through our PTSD programs, some other packages that we have developed, it's very, very elaborate of what we're planning on doing there. It'll be like a 6-month stay to get their PTSD and their other war-impacted anomalies taken care of. And naturally, they'll be selected by the Veterans Affairs Office throughout the United States for our best candidates.
That's going to be a major project. I know you've been working on that for quite some time, but that's going to be some great items. I want to stay in touch with you on the future, but I want to talk also about what you guys do right now, because we've seen just some of those different veterans. You said not only have you helped reach out to them, but sometimes they come to you in different situations to help lend a hand with your organization as well.
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, the funds that are raised basically through our outreach program. And at one time that was built up to about 90 folks. And I would say 90% of those guys and gals are veterans. So yeah, Vets Helping Vets is a big slogan in our organization, but that's just the way it happens. We don't have any kind of things that we go out and we'll hire, of course, veterans first off, of course, and then we also find them jobs and we get lots and lots of clothing in. So they have work clothes. We help them with vehicles, car repairs, housing. But everybody gets what they can through a personal interview. Heck, we've even put kitchens and bathrooms in with the help of a Home Depot. They give us a large donation of cabinets and flooring and sinks and all that. So we just turn it right over without any cost to these guys and gals. Say, well, I need this done, I need that done. Oh, funny you say that, you know, and then we help them out. And of course, roofing and ramps, wheelchairs. A lot of people say, well, what do you do for veterans? My answer back is, well, what don't we do for them? You know, we'll do everything and anything we can, just like what you're showing right now is from a stand down. We do, and there's me sitting in the back visiting veterans. And this one time, this last time I was out at that table, matter of fact, this one guy comes up and says hi to my wife, and she works at the office. And so he says, oh, I just really want to tell you guys, thank you so much for helping us out. And he says, and myself particularly, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you guys. And she says, well, let me introduce you to the president of the organization. And I didn't know him from Adam. And he started shaking my hand. I stood up, and all of a sudden he started crying. I said, wow. And he said, yeah, you guys saved my life. He said, I come in there all the time for help, and you're always there, and you always treat me with respect. When I leave there after getting what I needed, I always leave with my head held high. I don't feel embarrassed or chagrined about asking for that hand up when I need it most. And we were always there for them. So that's the kind of opportunity that we have that we can provide nationwide as we get more people that's involved with possibly becoming a regional manager or a state manager for that matter. But we're wanting to do it very aggressively because time is of the essence with a lot of these folks, like that gentleman that I met with, that, you know, wants to end it all because they don't have a way out. They're in that dark room with no doors. And we want to get them out of those dark rooms. My brother and dad both had severe PTSD, so I saw it firsthand. And you know, I was involved with it, and it just tore me apart. And then I saw it in spades in San Francisco, and I said, "Oh, that's it. I got to do something." And I've always wanted to be an entertainer, be a movie star someday. But you know, God has different ideas for you. But I'm glad I'm doing this. This is something that I believe will last for the next 100 years, this organization.
Right.
Because there's always going to be war. and we always got to be at the ready. And the veterans are the best people. American veterans are the best people on the planet.
And we obviously are not only lending a hand to them and, you know, remembering them on days like today, but also on, you know, more days to come. You've been doing this for 27 years. So I just want to ask finally, John, what keeps you going? I mean, you've talked with so many of these veterans. You just shared that story that, you know, some of them even say that Veterans Outreach is what has kept them here and kept them going. Is that those words of kindness shared back to you what keeps you continuing to do this day in and day out?
That's my father. That's William Gordon Ely, World War II veteran. He almost was killed at Pearl Harbor, and I see that every day. I say hi to him. I love you, Dad. I'm doing my best I can. Every time that I sit down on this computer or I get in front of a meeting talking about Veterans Outreach and our mission, and the mission just kind of exploded, especially 3 years ago when we finally, as I said, the good Lord dropped 110 acres of Appalachian in my lap. Now what are you going to do, son? Those first words that turned my life around and directed me was through my father. And every time I have a question, I always go back to him, and I hear the same words echoing. So, but yeah, we have a lot going on. But we need a lot of help, a lot of people out there. If you want to just donate and become a sponsor once a month, go to our website, veteransoutreach.org, make a pledge, even one-time donation. That will help a lot. If you're interested in volunteering or getting a job and maybe developing an office for us, anything like that is going to help, and we very much appreciate it. And our phone number is 888-2VET-NET, 283-8638. And I'll even give you my email, J-Ely, J-E-L-Y, at veteransoutreach.org.
So many ways that people can help, and I'm glad that we do have you on here today to help just kind of share a little bit on your mission and what you guys have already been doing here in these last 27 years, and excited to see those projects, especially Heroes Passage, continue to move forward. Hopefully we'll get some more good news and updates from you on progress being made with that coming up soon.
Thank you very much for your interest too, Christy. I just love talking about this program and project, especially other people that get interested in doing the mission with us. And I always avail my time. Just any time that they want to talk to me, I'm available. And hopefully that they get kickstart some action on their behalf as well.
Right.
But hey, I'm here. I'm looking for some help, and I want to say thank you, veterans, from the bottom of my heart and my soul, for your services. And, we couldn't have done it without you. And we'll always be here for you, and that's a promise.
Well, thank you,
Happy
John.
Veterans Day.
Yeah, happy Veterans Day to you, too. Again, thank you for all that you do as the founder and president of Veterans Outreach, and just the person you continue to be. So thank you for being here with us on Live Now from Fox.
Thank you.
And don't forget, you can help lend a hand as they help everyone who needs any assistance, from, again, food and clothing to employment. Veteransoutreach.com. More to come right here on Live Now from Fox when we return in 2 minutes.